Get smart with your spending with Nucenda's Breeze debit card. We've got your back by offering safe and easy access to your money. Never any hidden fees, just an account that makes sense. Download the Nucenda app to enroll in mobile and internet banking, managing your funds, making person-to-person transfers, and rounding up purchases to save. Visit Nucenda.org to explore Breeze accounts and join our credit union.
New members must be eligible for membership. Equal opportunity lender. Insured by NCUA.
Good day, folks, and welcome to another edition of Inside Santa Fe Public Schools podcast. I am Joe Abeta, and today we have two guests on our show. Sabra Romero, the district coordinator for volunteers, and we also have a volunteer with us. That would be Dr. Julienne Gilbert. How are you ladies doing today?
Great.
Thanks for joining us. So, I know our volunteer program. Have you been the coordinator since the beginning of the program?
Not exactly.
Okay.
So Santa Fe Public Schools has been very blessed with a very strong base of volunteers.
Mm-hmm.
So when I came into the district, which was about 8 years ago, we had a huge volunteer pool at that time.
Okay.
But really, the person that was in charge of volunteers was just really doing the vetting process.
Okay.
There wasn't really any programming associated with it or any organization to the program. Like, there wasn't really a program. It was just a bunch of volunteers, right?
Like, so it was like, so Sabra, it was like, people would say, hey, I want to volunteer in the public schools. Okay, great. Where are you going to volunteer? I think I'm going to volunteer over here. And or you'd be, all right, well, let's just do a background check on you, and then you're good to go.
Yeah, it was very much like that. So what I did was, when I came on, it became very clear that there needed to be some extra supports.
Okay.
So I pretty much built the program from the bottom up.
Okay.
With the assistance of the community and some of the volunteers that were already in place.
Mm-hmm.
So the first step that I did was I created the visitor management system,
Mm-hmm.
or I implemented the visitor management system. I streamlined the application process. I created a volunteer handbook. I started implementing training programs.
Okay.
And then it kind of just went from there. So now we have full programming, like the Help You Homework Hotline.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then this year, we just completed a 3-year strategic plan.
Okay. So, Sabra, there's a whole process now into becoming a volunteer, correct?
Yes. As time has progressed, there have been some additional legislative laws that have come into place.
Mm-hmm.
And so the vetting process is pretty extensive at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And some of that includes required training as well. So
Well, and so it's enough, though, that if someone really wants to volunteer, they're going to go through it, but it's not as daunting as like, well, I really don't want to go through all that to become a volunteer, right? So you're trying to make the process easy for the volunteers to become volunteers.
correct. There's definitely a layer of support that was not there before. And so there's a lot of information on our webpage. It basically maps out everything that we're doing as a district for our volunteers. And then the strategic plan is going to, as we're implementing it, which we're almost done with the first year, it will build in some further supports.
How many volunteers do we have?
Currently, we have 600 volunteers.
Wow. How many were there when you started the gig?
Probably around 700.
Wow.
I think by the end of the year, we'll be at 8.
Oh, okay. No, I'm saying when you started the program way back when, that you had about 700 when you started.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay. Crazy.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's pretty good then, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I think, there has been a little bit of obstacles with recruitment.
Yeah.
Capacity being one of them. But also the increase for the background check cost. which I'm working on getting some funding to support this year, and then also just the vetting process.
Where do the majority of your volunteers volunteer? Where is it? Is it elementary school? Is it pretty, spread out in equal ways? The high schools, middle schools, elementary school?
Yeah, we have a variety of different volunteers all over the district.
Okay.
So some help in the district office.
Okay.
Some help at the administration, in the administration office at the school sites, particularly the high school. Some help in the cafeteria. Some help with duty. A lot in the classroom and tutoring. And so it's just a wide range, and it's K through 12.
It's because we're gonna bring in Dr. Julienne Gilbert here in a sec, who's right here listening to us. But I bring up the fact we have doctors, we have former lawyers, we have former leadership in the community volunteering now. So it's also great that we're bringing in these folks that are quality folks that have a quality background that can share these experiences with whatever they're doing, if it's in admin or if it's in the classroom, whatever support they're giving in the district, correct?
Yes, that is
insight
correct.
too, right, at a district if they want, wherever they're working.
Yes, we have a huge impact from the city of Santa Fe. We also have a lot of people from LANL or from the National Lab, and a variety of different professionals, retired teachers, retired educators, just a plethora. Santa Fe is very blessed in that sense, that we have so much support for our children.
Yeah, no, definitely. So, Dr. Julienne Gilbert,
Yes.
how are you doing today?
I'm doing great.
Yeah, thank you for joining us today. So let me ask you something. So let's talk about your background. What were you in a formal life?
Oh, in my former life, I was a chemistry professor
Okay.
at the University of Denver.
Okay.
And I always loved teaching. And when I was at DU, I taught a lot and even was involved in some volunteering in Denver and outside of the university. So I've always had this feeling that I needed to do this because it was both satisfying for me and I felt like I was helping.
Yeah. And so reached out into the public schools, went through the process. Tell me about that process.
Okay. So when we moved, my husband and I both retired on exactly the same day.
Oh, wow.
And we came to Santa Fe because we loved the mountains and the hiking and the music. So we came to Santa Fe. And we were both retired chemistry professors. Okay. And so we were interested in finding some way to get involved with the educational programs for the kids here. And so when the first thing we reached out to was there was a woman named Lynn Heffron.
Yes.
Who had started a program with several teachers at Santa Fe High.
Yeah.
And we read about it in the paper, I think, and went to a event where they were introducing tutoring opportunities. And that's how we both got started. So we worked at, we volunteered at the high school and worked with these particular teachers in the classroom sometimes. Sometimes they had a separate help room set up for the kids, but it was all during the school day.
And it was tutoring chemistry.
Nope.
No?
I've wanted to tutor chemistry.
Okay, I was going to say.
But it's been math.
Man, I could have used you in my AP chemistry class back in the day. So
mostly it's been math, but math is kind of key to all the sciences. It's actually key to almost everything you do.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So both you and your husband are volunteers for math, correct?
Yes, although we'll do other things.
Gotcha.
I'll do biology or chemistry or physics.
Yeah. Well, that's great.
So,
I bet you get, you perk up when you say, hey, we need a chemistry tutor.
It's
You're
like, finally.
Yes, now I can teach people what's going on here. That's great. And so how long have you guys been doing this?
Well, I was trying to remember when Sabra told me about the opportunity to do this podcast. And I think that we probably got started probably around 2017 or 2016 initially. So it's been a few years.
Okay.
And there's been various iterations of it. You know, there was the Lynn Heffron organization. Then I was working, let's see, what was the next thing we did? I guess then I worked with the SAGE program.
Okay.
When COVID hit.
Yes.
And I did that for 2 years. I had 2 different students because they were year-long research projects.
Uh-huh.
And then I joined we called it the homework hotline in those days. And I joined that, and I did that for several years up until last year. And now I'm tutoring in the after-school tutoring program at the high school.
Okay.
That's organized by Tommy Rodriguez.
Okay. Wow. And so how do you feel like, I mean, as far as the need goes, I mean, I know as a student, I mean, hindsight now as a 53-year-old man, I would say I would have loved to have had a tutor, and I should have used one to help me out with understanding stuff because, especially with math. So, so how has that been? How is a tutoring session happen if they're assigned to you, or do they call you, or how does this all work?
At the high school, the current situation, students that want help know, we hope, that there's an hour of tutoring in the library after school from 4 to 5.
Yeah.
And so they are self-selected, which in many ways is really great because see the kids that want to come and get some help.
Yeah.
So they're very motivated. They're really great to work with. Some of them need tons of help. Some of them just need a little help.
Yeah.
So it's really nice. I think that the real challenge is getting the students to realize that this program exists.
Yes.
Or that it's maybe okay if they could figure out a way to get there from 4 to 5.
Yeah.
And I know some have challenges like they can't be at school for an hour afterwards. But
Yeah.
I also think a lot of kids wait until the last minute and then it's too late. You know,
Yeah.
2 weeks before the end of this term is too late.
No, it is. You got to go at the beginning when you're
Yes.
starting to feel a little bit foggy in the classroom. And-
exactly right.
yeah. No, I gotcha. What's a negative plus a negative, or a negative
Yeah.
times a negative? I don't remember it quite, but
That's right.
yeah. No,
That's right.
That's pretty awesome. Do you feel, Sabra? I mean, is there a certain thing that is there a demand for a certain role like tutoring, or is it the volunteering in elementary schools or volunteering in the district? What is the largest demand for the district for volunteers?
Well, we have a variety of different demands, and it's constantly changing.
Okay.
So we do have a volunteer request form. So the teachers or educators or parents can request a tutor through that form.
Okay.
Or a volunteer in general.
Gotcha.
We have a high need for reading and math, of course. I've really focused on math over the last couple years. So at one point, it was very skewed, where there wasn't very many math tutors and there was a lot of reading tutors. But now they're about equal, which is really awesome.
Okay.
But really, support for the student. One of the challenges that happens is the placement process or finding a space for them to work together.
Okay.
So after school programming is put into place, in classroom support is put into place, and then we have the virtual option, which is the homework hotline. And so that is also available.
Wow. So for the homework hotline, you could get in on a Zoom meeting or something, and you can share your screen and kind of show them what's going on. Correct. Rather than on the phone. I don't know how that would work. I mean, back in the day, I guess that's how we would do it on the phone, right?
Right.
But
yeah.
I don't even remember us having a homework hotline back in the day for Santa Fe High.
No, we
But that was back in the 90s, though. So it's like, yeah.
We implemented it during COVID. And I found it to be pretty successful in the sense that it allows students to work from home if they need to, out of school time, if they're on their way home during the after school programming, they're able to jump into the meeting and work with their tutor.
Yeah, the homework hotline, that's what I started doing when COVID hit also. And it was really interesting because many times, in fact, I think all the time I was doing it, I was paired with students that I would see every week. So it was it wasn't just one student one week and another student the next. And I found that particularly good for both me and the student because we could focus in on what were the shortcomings. And you can't do that just in one session.
No,
you need
you
to
can't.
sort of build on that and get them to where they need to be. And we did that in the summer too. And so I had several times students in the summer that actually, either their parents or they wanted them to catch up in their, again, it was mostly math classes.
Mm-hmm.
So I, to the extent that I was involved in that, I enjoyed doing the homework hotline.
That's a huge resource. I mean, and also a great thing that we're bringing to the students, right? That they're able to access these brilliant minds to be able to help them out with academics.
Yeah. Yes.
So other things that volunteers do is, and I see on here, besides tutoring, you also have for field trips and special events, helping out with special events, right? PTA, things like that, right? So let's say you're not a teacher or a professor and you want to volunteer for other things, right? There's other things they can do.
Correct. There's a big push for support during lunch duty, during lunch in the morning, afternoon, and lunch, just because of the way that the teachers' contracts work. A lot of times our teachers are giving up their lunch breaks to help with the supervision on the playground. So there's a big push for support in pickup, drop-off, and lunch. And in classroom support is invaluable as well.
Yeah.
Teachers are always running around and doing multiple things. And some of that classroom prep support is really important, as well as just having an extra body in the classroom, an extra adult body. And then, of course, there's administrative support. I know some of our student records people use volunteers. There's definitely support in my office that's needed and in various capacities.
Gotcha. Wow. So with all these things going on with the volunteer program, is there plans for expansion on the volunteer program? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so this year we were fortunate enough to get some funding from the Office of Economic Development at the city of Santa Fe.
Okay.
And that has funded additional support. So we've hired a contracted staff member that is helping streamline the vetting process, getting it through quickly and timely. And so that's a huge piece. With her help, we're also going to be implementing our strategic plan, which we've already started. We have three committees that we're building. We're building a fundraising committee. We are building a communications committee, and we're building a education committee for the volunteer program specifically. Out of those things, we are also going to be implementing teams at each school site. So there will be a volunteer team that will work together to best fit the needs of each school site, because each school site is a little bit different. So we want to hone in on the communication so that it's not overwhelming to the teachers and the volunteers can really work through what the school really truly needs. And so that's kind of the plan moving forward.
Excellent.
Very cool.
Oh, I was going to say.
I just think
Julienne,
that's very cool. That's all.
So, okay. So let's, before we've ran a little bit out of time, but I was going to ask you, so just one more time, how can folks, if they're interested in becoming a volunteer, how can they do that? Where can they go?
Alrighty, so they'll want to go to the website. It's www.sfps.info, and under the menu option there is a volunteering page, and that has all the information about our program. It includes current opportunities, the vetting process, or the application process, the vetting process, training opportunities that are coming up, et cetera, et cetera.
Let's just say, just for the folks out there listening, so let's say someone comes in and they hit all the marks right away as far as like what they got to do. How long is the process from the moment they reach out to you to they're in the classroom, they're in the office, or they're giving support? And this is say you're hitting all the marks, right? Well, how long what are we talking about?
We're
here?
looking at a 2 to 4 week turnaround time.
Okay, 2 to 4 week turnaround. All right. And that's efforts on their side, efforts on your side, and then getting in place. Well, I mean, and after that, do they have to renew that process every year?
So the full-on vetting process is required one time, as long as they maintain an active status. So annually, they do have to say that they're intending to volunteer. So there's a form that they fill out, and then they have to take an online training annually.
Okay. All right.
And then I just wanted to say one last thing.
Yes.
That the reason I asked for this was because we're coming up on National Volunteer Appreciation Week.
Okay.
And I just want to thank all of our volunteers tremendously for the dedication and work that they do for our families and our students.
Awesome.
And I would also like to thank Sabra and everybody else that's involved in getting us organized, because it's very rewarding to be part of the public schools here. It's been wonderful.
That's awesome. Well, we're lucky to have you too.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
She's one of our stars, our shining stars.
Well, I think because you asked her to be on the show on the podcast, right? So there you go. Well, thank you both for coming on today. We really appreciate it. And thank you for all that you do for Santa Fe Public Schools.
Thank you.
Yep. Awesome. Well, folks, thanks again for listening. This has been Inside Santa Fe Public Schools podcast. Have a safe week. Have a great week. Adios.